Anna, who works as a nurse in a hospital, comes home. He woke up and found it was his daughter, but her face has been bitten out of shape. The man is distressed and goes to check his daughter's condition. Unexpectedly, his daughter opened her mouth and bit the man's neck. Anna saw this and hurriedly pushed his daughter away. The man fell on the bed. Her daughter's look became strange and she frantically pounced on Anna. Anna panicked and closed the door. The husband was already in a coma. She immediately called the emergency number. The next moment, the man stood up, and he lunged at her like a madman. She grabbed the car keys and ran into the bathroom, but outside suddenly became quiet again. She cautiously went up and called out her husband's name, but her husband broke the door of the room with his head. Anna climbed out of the toilet window. Just as she was about to get into her car, the neighbor across the street suddenly pointed a gun at her, questioning whether she had turned into a zombie. But the next moment, he was run over by an ambulance. The sight before her terrified her even more. She gets in her car and starts to flee. People in the street fled frantically. People who go crazy bite on sight. The cars on the road collided one after another, instantly setting off the gas station. Anna stopped the car to take a breather when a strong man pulled open the door and tried to take her car. Anna stepped hard on the gas pedal. Although she managed to shake off the strong man, she herself was involved in a car accident. Anna wakes up from the car. Just as she climbs out of the car, she is confronted by a policeman, Kenneth, with a gun to her head. Seeing that the woman was able to answer him questions correctly, Kenneth also put down his weapon. The two then traveled in pairs. When they passed a bridge, they met up with another group of survivors. After making sure they were all right, they formed a 5-person team to go to Walmart ahead to look for supplies. But just as they were prying the door open, 2 zombies suddenly appeared on the road. When they see live person, the zombies immediately jump on them. Andre shot to cover. Kenneth shot the door lock. They entered the mall and closed the steel door quickly. The people who escaped tried to call for help in the warehouse, but there was no signal. They then went inside the mall. Inside, it looked safe and had all the supplies they needed. The group split up. They had to make sure all the entrances were sealed. Michael walks into a clothing store. While he was checking out the fitting rooms, a walker enjoying a meal pounces on him. Hearing the noise, the 3 are immediately alerted. Another zombie appears behind them and grabs the pregnant woman. Kenneth was worried about hurting her, so he used the butt of his gun to hit the zombie, but the zombie fell into the pool. Anna took the opportunity to pick up the gun on the ground and killed the zombie with 1 shot. Michael also took care of the zombie and joined them. It seems that this place is not safe. They planned to take the elevator to the upper floor, but when the elevator opened, 3 security guards appeared at the door. The lead one is called CJ. After they handed over their weapons, the security guards allowed them to enter the mall, but what they didn't know was that Andre's wife was infected. But for the sake of the baby in her belly, Andre chose to hide it. At this point, the news was playing on TV and things had become uncontrollable. The virus has infected the entire United States and could be caught by bite or scratch. The only way to kill them is to shoot them in the head. To make sure the place was safe enough, they cleared the mall of all the zombies. They also put a huge distress sign on the roof. At that moment, a truck suddenly came towards the mall. Michael and Andre were ready to open the door to meet them. After a bit of a struggle, the 8 survivors in the truck made it into the mall without incident, but one of the women was infected and soon turned into a zombie. She was eventually killed by Anna. And Nicole's father is also infected. Nicole could not accept the loss of her father. At the time, he was about to mutate. Finally, Kenneth gave him a final ride. Life in the mall is gradually settling down. People seem to have forgotten about the end of the world, but that comfortable life is about to be shattered. On this day, they sat down to eat together. That's when the power went out at the mall. While the generator was in the underground parking lot, they had to team up to go to the underground parking lot. During the time, they also found a cute dog. At that moment, a security guard was attacked by a zombie. Then a wave of zombies came to them. They ran to the location of the generator and closed the iron fence to block the zombies. Other teammates sprayed gasoline on the walkers. CJ took out a lighter and lit the gasoline. Several people also succeeded in solving this crisis. On the other hand, Andre's zombie wife is about to give birth. The zombie mother gave birth to a zombie baby, and the mother and daughter were safe. But then an aunt finds out about it. She quickly pulled out his pistol and shot the zombie, but Andre also shot her. The 3 of them eventually died together. The others heard the gunshots and came. They saw the tragic scene. Andre was holding a baby in his arms. Anna lifted it up and saw that the baby was still alive. This cute child is also going to be killed because she has mutated into a zombie. After a brief prayer, the crowd felt that this place was no longer safe, and there was a small island in the middle of a lake nearby. They decided to drive to the pier. There were just 2 cars in the garage. They modified both cars. However, as if the zombies were equipped with navigation, they all converged on the mall in unison. That's when they noticed gunshots coming from the gun store across the street from the mall, and there was a man alive on the roof, but he had no food left. The crowd decided to rescue him. They sent the dog to bring him food and a walkie-talkie. The puppy managed to get into the gun store across the mall, but a zombie also followed it in. Then they heard on the walkie-talkie the man across the street saying he had been bitten. That's when Nicole, desperate to save the dog, drove the truck across the street. She managed to get into the store. At this point, the group saw what the man across the street had written on the sign and was sure he had turned into a zombie. They then decided to launch a rescue of Nicole, while also being able to replenish their supplies at the gun store. They made their way through the sewers to the street. They instantly attracted hordes of walkers. After taking out a few of the walkers, they made their way through the cab of the truck to the gun store. Inside the gun store, they quickly replenished their supplies and looked for Nicole's trail. During their search, they see the mutated man, who was frantically banging on the door of the storage room. Kenneth calls out his name and takes him out with one shot. After rescuing Nicole, they made an exit plan. They planned to use the gas canister to destroy some of the zombies. With the explosion of the gas canister, they managed to get back to the mall through the sewers, but the walkers followed them to the mall. They quickly made their way to the modified car and prepared to head to the pier. The modified car was indestructible and crashed right through the steel door. However, thousands of zombies were waiting for them outside, but because there were so many of them, even the modified car could not move in the crowd of zombies. If this continues, the whole car will be overturned. Steve hurriedly grabbed a chainsaw and reached out the window to start cutting the walkers. CJ climbed out of the sunroof and threw a lit gas can at the walkers, but the next second, a zombie picked it up. This zombie seems to be quite smart, ready to throw the gas can back, but CJ fired quickly. The huge explosion instantly opened up a lifeline in front. The vehicle took advantage of the opportunity to break out of the crowd of zombies and quickly headed toward the pier. At this moment, Kenneth, through the reflector, found a zombie is hanging outside the car. The old man turned on the chainsaw and prepared to remove the safety hazard. Unexpectedly, the car suddenly made a sharp turn. Huge inertia threw the woman into the chainsaw. She was cut into 2 pieces. The car went out of control and overturned. Steve had just climbed out of the car when he was jumped by a zombie on top of the car. By the time the people in the front car arrived, Kenneth was the only one left. At that moment, a large wave of zombies was coming. Everyone rushed to the car, followed by Anna, with the fire support of the others. She was saved. The vehicle continued to move forward, and the zombies were in hot pursuit. Finally, they arrived at the pier. The car blocked the only way in. Everyone got out of the car and quickly headed for the yacht. CJ told them to go first. He stayed behind. A large number of walkers surrounded the car and poured into it. CJ was in a desperate situation. He blew up a gas canister, giving the others time to escape with their lives. After the explosion, the remaining people rushed to the yacht, but Michael chose to stay behind. It turns out he was also bitten. After sending everyone away, Michael stood alone on the dock and ended his life with a gun. The survivors head for the island in the middle of the lake to start a new journey to survival. But is the island really safe? Well, yeah.